Cool. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Thursday webinar. It would be really lovely for us to get a few hellos, and also tell us where you're doing this webinar. Like, are you in the garden, or are you in a room with a fan like Christian? Or are you kind of just look cool when you're very hot like me? Oh, good. Look at that. Some people, oh, wow, Adam's in the garden. That's great. And Michael's on a balcony. Now, that's a good idea, actually. Hi, Phil. Oh, Travis is in Ohio. I forgot to ask where you were doing this from, actually. Hi, Sylvia. Hi, Angelica. Oh, we got some girls here. Oh, big fans. Some people have got some major fans. Hi, Bilal from Pakistan. The beauty of this actually is that although we're a UK-based group, you don't need to be in the UK anymore to be able to benefit from our wonderful community. You can do this from absolutely anywhere and in your pajamas if you were so inclined. Clearly, I need to get dressed up a bit, but nobody else seems to. Hello from London. Oh, someone's got a sauna. Oh, that's Christian. That's okay.
With my teeny tiny fan trying to keep me cool.
Cool. Well, I hope everybody, it's really lovely to see so many people here and all of the hellos keep on coming in. So if you're new, hands up if anybody is new. Can you just give us a wave or something, or go happy newbie or something?
So many names we recognize as well. So many regulars.
Oh, wow. Cool. So we've got, oh shit, this is going awry.
Look below Boris.
So, yeah, at least I get my hair dyed properly. Anyway, so it does look like we've got a number of new people. So if you're new to this event, what we really love is participation as we are going through this, but it's probably best to put your questions in the questions section. So if you look to the right of your screen, to the right of the chat box, you'll see a questions area, and that just makes sure that we all cover the questions, which we tend to do towards the end of the webinar. And we want to make sure that you all get everything that you need out of this. This is going to be a bit of slideware, but also a very practical session. And one of the things that I do find with PPC is that it really only comes to life when somebody runs through it with me, partly because I really detest looking at the numbers and trying to work out the ratios between them. So I typically delegate this kind of task, but I think it'll be really useful for people to actually see what's going to happen on screen in a live environment, and that's what we've got for you here today. So let me start by introducing, am I allowed to call you Travis, or should it be Doctor?
I only go by Doctor, so it has to be, no, you can call me Travis, that's fine.
Okay, so we have Dr. Travis Zigler here, who's an ophthalmologist. I can barely say the word, actually. And I really love, actually, your signature and your brand because it is so awesome. So I do hope you show that on one of your slides and just take people through that. You've obviously got a very successful brand, and you've also worked out how to make PPC work for you. So thank you very much for virtually flying in here from, is it Ohio?
Live in Austin, Texas. I'm in Toledo, Ohio right now. We come back here for the summer because Austin, Texas is usually about 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which I can't do that math in my head, but it's probably about
36.
It's about as hot as it is here today.
I was going to say 40.
Don't worry, everybody knows what you'll say.
37.
Cool. All right, so you're in Toledo, I believe, right?
Yep.
Cool. Good. So I think without further ado, I'll hand over to you and you can take us through this. We're really looking forward to it.
Somebody says I'm very, very famous and you know me very well. So I don't know how I'm famous, but this is great. All right, well, let me get my screen shared. And then let me know when you guys can all see that.
Oh, yes,
Okay.
that's really clear.
All right, and I will start my presentation. So is it showing up full screen now?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
doing
perfect.
really well. We can see the whole thing's working. It's amazing when tech does its job.
So let me know if I start to lag or anything. I am not in my home base, and so I'm not in as control of the internet as I usually am. And so I had a presentation go bad on Tuesday. We tried to fix the internet by today, and I think we did it. But if I start to lag, I'll turn my camera off. So just let me know that.
It's great so far, so no problems.
Good. All right. So in today's presentation, I want to give you guys a very simple strategy that should help you double your Amazon PPC sales if you do it correctly. And we're going to go over quite a few things in today's presentation, but what I'm going to do at the end, I'm going to give you kind of conceptual strategy first, and then some mistakes that I see people make all the time with Amazon PPC. And then I'm going to give you the number one mistake. And then finally, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk you through step by step how to implement this strategy. And then I'm going to do it in a slide presentation. But then after the slide presentation, I'm actually going to go into my account and show you how I do it in my account. That might be a little clunky because I'm not on my usual computer. I'm on my 13-inch laptop, which is tiny, but you'll get the basic idea of what we're going to go over today. So I'm just going to briefly cover who I am. As you guys know, I'm a recovering optometrist turned e-commerce entrepreneur. I graduated in 2010 with my doctorate of optometry. And this is an eye doctor that doesn't really perform surgery like an ophthalmologist. And I practiced for about 7 years. My goal was to retire by the age of 40. I did it by the age of 33. And it's because we started a company called 𝗈𝐿𝑜VE. And you can see our company there at 𝗈𝐿ovethesun.com. Our mission is to heal 1 million dry eye sufferers naturally. And we're on our way. So we've probably reached about 100,000 people through our brand 𝗈𝐿OVE. And we have products that are more natural and organic that help people solve their dry eye naturally. We also teach more holistic medicine. We teach you how to heal your body from the inside out when you have a disease. And we just focus everything on dry eye. And along with my wife, Dr. Jenna Zigler, she's also an optometrist, and we do this full time, both of us. I act as the CEO. She acts more as the COO. And then that's our son, Jude. That's actually when he was like 6 months old. He's now 2.5. So we need to update that picture. But what we started this company for is to make $10,000 a year to go on our mission work. We go to Jamaica every October, and we give about 1,000 to 3,000 eye exams in a 2 weeks time. And it costs us about $10,000 a year to go. So we started this business to do that, and it's far surpassed that. We've quit our jobs full-time to go full-time into this. But what we do with our profits of 𝗈𝐿OVE is we donate it to our 𝗈𝐿OVE Foundation. And that's our charity leg that kind of funds all these free clinics to Jamaica. If you're a team member of mine, we actually pay for you to come with us. And then we've donated anything from full exam lanes to these clinics, to rooms, to offices. We've been able to just really do a lot with our foundation, which is kind of our life's mission. So dry eye and healing the temporarily blind. So there's 1 billion people blind due to lack of glasses, but you guys aren't here to hear that. Full disclosure, so I do have a small Amazon PPC agency that I do run with a couple of my friends. And we work with brands that are ready and that have the capital to scale their Amazon PPC. So the strategy I'm giving you isn't just concept, it's actually something that we do every single day. And with our agency, what we do is we actually trial stuff in 𝗈𝐿OVE. And if something works really well, we then roll it out to the agency. And the strategy that I'm going to show you today has worked tremendously well for 𝗈𝐿OVE, as you'll see with the results. And then also we rolled it out to the agency, and it's working really well with those two. And then I do have a free Amazon PPC masterclass. This is a very manual. It's going to talk. This is from that masterclass. So if any of you guys want that, it's at that website right there, AmazonPPCprofessionals.com, or you can just send me a message on Facebook. I think I applied to be in the group today, so I should be in there too. Why should you listen to me? I just kind of gave you my spiel on our business. Our business should do about 4 to 5 million this year. And across the whole agency platform, we're in charge of close to around 30 million in advertising spend, or not spend, but advertising dollars made per year. And so it just gives me a little bit more experience. I'm not as big as some of the other agencies, but we're very different from other agencies because we focus on scale and brands that are ready to scale. Because believe me, you say you want scale, but once you actually achieve it, it's very, very hard. It's a completely different business to run. We're having struggles in 𝗍𝐿𝑎ve right now from scaling 3 products. And so I can go into those struggles too in a little bit later too. But this is an example of the strategy I'm going to show you today. We weren't doing it until January of this year. So in January, we spent $30,000 to make $60,000. So I shoot for an ACOS of 62% in my business. That may seem crazy to some of you, but I'll explain in just a little bit. So I spent 30 to make 60 with about a 50% ACOS. And then this is January. And then if you go back to the last 30 days, this was taken just a couple of days ago, we have spent 37 to make 117. So you can just see the scale that's happened as a result of using this strategy that I'm going to teach you today. And this isn't the only thing that we do, but this is the main thing that we focus on. And so don't think that this is going to take you to the results that I have. This is just one step, but this is the most important step that you can do for Amazon PPC, in my opinion. And I believe that a lot of experts will probably agree with me in that too. I know we were talking before the call and I said 50 to make 150. This is only one of my advertising accounts for 𝗍𝐿𝑎ve. We have another advertising account in AMS, which some of you guys might not even know what AMS is, but it's an old platform that we still have access to, and it has loopholes, so we still use it, and it allows us to do a lot more interesting things. So we're spending about 50 to make 150 now with about a 30% ACOS. All right, so let's just jump into first kind of some conceptual things, and this will be pretty quick, and then we'll get into the tactical and get right into the nitty-gritty there afterwards. So the number one thing I want you to realize with Amazon PPC is it can be as difficult or it can be as simple as you make it. And what I see sellers and clients of mine doing is they tend to overcomplicate PPC. And the way that they're doing this is that they're implementing just way too many strategies. You're learning from me. You're learning from this guru, and you're trying to tie everything together. The best thing you can do with Amazon PPC is follow one person and follow their strategy, because there's so many different strategies out there. If you try to mix them all together, what's going to happen is you're just going to be confused. And so some of these common strategies that I see that are kind of just a little bit off is people are putting thousands and thousands of keywords in a campaign just to try to get sales from any of those keywords. That's actually a huge mistake, and Amazon doesn't like that anymore. 3 years ago, yes. So if you have thousands of keywords in your campaigns, you need to go in right now and just pause the ones that haven't made a sale yet. Just pause them. Doesn't matter if you want to rank for them or not. If you want to rank for them, it doesn't matter, because if Amazon doesn't find you relevant for that keyword, it's never going to show that keyword, and it's just kind of clogging up your campaign manager. So, and that's what this presentation is going to be more about, is just kind of helping you fix all that. Another common mistake is ACOS. Everybody wants to go, and for those that don't know, ACOS is the average cost of sale. It's the reverse of the return on ad spend. Return on ad spend is what everywhere else in the world uses, but Amazon likes to be unique and they use the average cost of the sale. Everybody always goes for a low ACOS, and that is a huge mistake as well. You need to go after your break-even ACOS. And a lot of you might be asking, what's the break-even ACOS? Break-even ACOS is just simply your profit margin. So calculate your profit margin for your product. That's for a whole other lecture, but profit margin for your product, that percentage is the ACOS you want to shoot for. So I said earlier that we shoot for a 62% ACOS for our product. This product sells about 200 units a day. And the reason we go for 62% is because we know that advertising sales is going to drive organic ranking, which is going to drive organic sales, which is going to increase our profit and increase our Amazon sales. And so that's the reason we do it. Plus, we're in the consumable market. And so being in the consumable market, you have more margin to play with because they're going to come back to purchase. We have about a 60% repeat purchase rate, which is huge. And so we know we can spend more to acquire a customer. And it all goes back to just knowing your numbers. And then finally, pausing keywords. We don't pause keywords enough. So I'll briefly cover my criteria of pausing keywords. If you have more than 10 clicks on a keyword with no sales, pause it. And if your 𝐜𝐴𝐻𝐸 is over your break-even 𝐜𝐴𝐻𝐸, pause it. I don't care if you think you need to rank for that keyword, you don't. Because when you focus on the keywords that are actually working, that's when your products will really take off. And some products just aren't meant for scale. We have close to 15 to 20 products, and we have probably 6 that are scaled. And the rest of them are just there. And they're there for when people come back to buy from us. It's nice because they see our brand, they trust our brand, and so they'll buy our other products too. And so you just kind of, that's the importance of really making sure your product line is in sync, making sure that you really sell to a specific person and not just selling stuff. You need to solve the problem of that particular person and focus on that person. Then I know I said finally last time, but the final mistake that I see is people don't know how to expand their campaigns and scale them. And that's what we're going to go over today. And if you're saying to yourself like, wow, I do all those, or man, yeah, I do a couple of those, you're completely normal. I would say that 95% of sellers are doing exactly the mistakes that I just mentioned. And 5%, maybe even less than that, are doing what I'm going to teach you today. And actually, they know their break-even 𝐜𝐴𝐻𝐸s. They go for higher 𝐜𝐴𝐻𝐸s. They really focus on keywords. But if you're making any of those mistakes, just know that you're normal. And don't beat yourself up over it. It's not worth it, because that's what you're here for. You're going to learn today. You guys have probably heard of Pareto's principle. I mean, we all have. And if you have, put it in the chat what you think it is, and then we'll kind of jump in what it is. So, all right. I'm gonna go over to the chat real quick and see. Yep, 80-20 rule, 80-20 rule. Yep. And yes, you will get the slides. All right, more are coming in now. Yep, 80-20, 20% of X gives you 80% of the benefit. 80-20, yep, perfect. So Pareto's principle simply states that most things in life are not distributed evenly, but rather 20% of the input creates 80% of the results. And this applies to pretty much anything in life. Your business, your revenues, your Amazon PPC. And I think Pareto originally found it with planting a garden. So he planted a garden, and what he noticed is that 20% of the seeds that he planted produced 80% of the crop, or 80% of the results. So to put it a couple of different ways, 20% of your workers produce 80% of your results. And so, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. GE CEO, Jack Welch, would always trim the bottom 20% of his workers because they've created 80% of the problem. So at the end of every year, he would trim the fat of his workforce to hire new workers. And so every single year he'd do that. And that's how he took like GE from like 1 billion to like 40 billion or something like that. He just kept trimming the fat. 20% of your customers create 80% of your revenue. Now, this is an important point, because if you're not doing something to focus on that 20%, your top 20% of customers, then you're leaving a lot of money on the table. So something I do, and this may sound crazy to some of you, is and mind you, we are a $4 to $5 million company. I still call the top 20% of our customers. It's now the top 10% because it's hard to, have when you increase your customer base, you have to kind of keep narrowing it down. But I pick up the phone and call people, and they love getting a call from me. They love talking, but most of the time I just get a voicemail. And there's actually services out there that you can actually call people and it will go instantly to voicemail. And that's a fun service too, if you don't want to ever talk to somebody and just leave them a voicemail. But talking to your customers is huge, because you're going to get a lot of insight from talking to them. But 20% of your customers create 80% of your revenue. 20% of the bugs cause 80% of the crashes, computer bugs. 20% of the features cause 80% of the usage. And finally, the one that you're here today is 20% of your customer search terms on Amazon drive 80% of your sales. So what we're going to teach you today is we're going to teach you how to find that 20%, isolate them, and then scale those. And simply what this is it's mining your search term report, finding that top 20%, And it might even be only a top 10%, and then really focusing on those. So what we're going to do with that is, or what are we going to do with the 20% that's driving the 80% of your sales? We're actually going to separate these out into their own campaigns. So I'm going to repeat that one more time. There's going to be one search term per Amazon PPC campaign. Now, you've probably learned other strategies where you have one search term per ad group or separating them that way, but we're actually going to have one search term per Amazon PPC campaign. And the reason we do this is it allows us to customize every single part of the campaign for that search term. And that's huge. So I can change the budget for just that one search term. I can change the bidding strategy, which I only use dynamic bids down only, but then adjust bids by placement. You can adjust that as well per search term. And that's why we do this, because when you can separate it out, then you can customize it. And when you have multiple search terms driving sales and you can customize each one of them, it just makes a huge difference. And this really came about when Amazon introduced their adjust bids by placement. And it used to be called Bid Plus, but it wasn't customizable. So this was about 1.5 years ago where this really started to work really well, because you could adjust that. Then you can also adjust your budget. All right, so this is what steps that we're going to break down today. So how to set up your Amazon PPC campaigns. We're going to first download your, and you guys can write this down. I'll go through it right now, but then we're going to go through each step individually too. And then I want to do a live example with you guys too. So the first thing you're going to do is download your Amazon sponsored product search term report. I like to upload it to Google Sheets, but you can use Excel as well. You're then going to organize and consolidate your report. You're going to delete all keywords that have less than 3 orders. You're then going to separate out each product in a new tab. We're going to then find the 20% of your search terms that drive 80% of your results. And then finally, you're going to watch your sales, your ranking, and your profits soar. Does that sound good? Let me know in the chat if that sounds good. I'm going to pop over. I hear a couple of notifications coming in, so I wanted to see it. All right. Yes, you will get the slides. That is for sure. All right, perfect. I'm going to turn off my notification sound so you guys don't hear it as I'm going. All right, let's jump back into the presentation. All right, so downloading your search term report, you can get this inside a Campaign Manager, but I'm going to show you how to do it inside Campaign Manager live, but I'm going to show you with the slides where you can get it from in reports. So reports, and you go to advertising reports. And after you go to advertising reports, this is what it should look like. It may look a little different for you because they just rolled out their new Campaign Manager, which I'll show you in the live example. And what you're going to do, I like to go back 60 days. And so the reporting period, I go back 60 days from, actually what I do is, so today is, what is today? It is June 25th. And so my 60 days would be April 20th to June 20th. And the reason I do that is because I leave a little bit of attribution in there, because Amazon has a 7-day attribution window. And for those that don't know what attribution is, it means if somebody clicks on your ad 7 days ago and buys today, it will still count towards that click. And so I like to leave a 5-day window in there just to get the data to be more full and more just complete. And so like if somebody clicked yesterday and they didn't buy, but they buy later today, you're going to see that on the report as a click, but not a sale. And so I leave a 5-day attribution window. So today, when I go in, I'll go from April 20th to June 20th. But anyway, so we're going to go back 60 days. And then what we're going to do is a sponsored products report, search term report type, and you can name it whatever you want. And then I click create report. All those are default except for the date. So then what I do is I open up a Google Sheet and I upload it to that. So I go to File and then to Import. When the import box pops up. I go to upload, and then I select the file from your device. You can drag it. If you use Chrome, just drag it from the Chrome download section, or you can just upload it like you would anything else in a Windows computer or a, I don't know, I don't know Mac, so I can't tell you how to do it there. It'll be about the same. And then it will ask you this, doesn't really matter what you pick here. All right, so then it brings everything in here. And so it's going to be a nice Excel spreadsheet or a Google Sheet. And what we need to do is just organize and consolidate the report. So I like to really delete the columns that aren't really necessary. And there's a lot of columns in here, but the main one you want is orders, ACOS, sales and spend, and then like your campaign name, so you know what product you're going after. And this is the importance of naming your campaigns in a way that you'll actually know what they mean. Because if you don't do that, then it's going to be a lot harder to organize this. But if you name your campaign names correctly, I always recommend putting the ASIN in there. That's when it gets a lot easier. So what we're going to do then is, once we don't delete the columns, and I'll show you that when I go live, is we're going to sort it by orders. What we want to do is we actually, after we sort it by orders, so you'll press, let's see if you guys can see my mouse cursor, press this button right here. And what that will do is it will highlight everything. Then I go to data and sort range. And then we're going to organize it by orders. And so orders Z to A will actually organize it from the most orders to the least orders. And then we're going to delete anything that has fewer than 3 sales. So 3 sales and up, I like to keep. 2 sales and down, I like to delete and get rid of. And then after that, if you have only one product, it's great because you have all your data right there. But if you have more than one product, you want to separate each product out into a new tab. So to give you an idea, we actually do this for all our clients, and we do this for iLove every single month. And we always look at the search term data, because the search term data can help you out with a lot of other things, which I'm going to go over a little bit later. But you may think this sounds like a lot of work, but it's not. And this is probably one of the most important things you can do for your business, because it's not just helping your Amazon PPC, it's helping a lot more than that. And I'll go over that here towards the end. So once we separate out the products in a new campaign and our new tab, how I do that is the same thing. We highlight the whole worksheet. We then sort it by campaign name. This is where the ASINs come in. And then we just separate them out that way. So this is what it looks like when we're done. So 3 orders or more. And this is just our eyelid wipes, which I'll probably do in the example as well. So once you sort it into orders, you'll see that 3 keywords are responsible for almost 80% of our results. And that first keyword is responsible for about 90%, or the first keyword is responsible for the majority of the sales. So eyelid wipes, that is a keyword that, or search term, that we will want to focus on. 𝗱𝐸𝐵𝑖Z eyelid wipes is a branded search term. That's our brand. That's one of the brands that we have. We actually just purchased that brand in May. And then eyelash wipes is the third search term that leads to all these results. So we have 3 search terms right there that we're really going to put a lot of our efforts on. Another column you'll want to note is the impressions column. The impressions column tells you how many times this ad is seen, or for the search term. Our ad is seen for that search term. Higher the impressions, the more often that's searched. It's as simple as that. So you can see OcuSoft has 15,000 OcuSoft eyelid wipes. That's another brand. That's our competitor. ClearDex is another competitor. And so those are things to go after maybe at a later date. But when you go after your competitors, it's going to be a lot more expensive. As you can see by the OcuSoft column, you can scroll down over to my ACOS, and you can see that it's 118%. So going after your competitors is going to be a lot more expensive than just going after what the data is showing you. So eyelid wipes, lots of impressions, lots of sales, 35% ACOS, well below our break even, 153 orders, conversion rate of 37%. 𝗱𝐵𝐺 eyelid wipes, much higher conversion rate because it is our brand, but still 29 orders. And then eyelash wipes, 25 orders, 33% conversion rate, so still great. Generally, a rule of thumb is when you're looking at this conversion rate, if your conversion rate is below 10 to 20% for a search term, it's going to be extremely, extremely hard to scale that search term. So like going after my competitor, OcuSoft eyelid wipes, 13%, that is not going to be scalable. It's just going to be incredibly tough to scale it. Then you can see this one, 86%, another brand name keyword, but not as many as impressions. So that's going to be tough to scale because it doesn't have impressions. So that's just something to kind of realize that if your conversion rate is lower, it's going to be harder to scale, but 37% is very easy to scale. And I'll show you the results of that too with this strategy. So the final step, watch your sales ranking and profit source. So this is just our sales when we first started this product. And you can see this is month 0 essentially. Month 1, we were just getting reviews. And then you can see after month 1, after we had a couple reviews, probably around 10 to 20, we then implemented the strategy and you can just see it take off. And so that's what this does. And then what you want to see is the spend and the sales increase, but you also want to see the spend go down below the sales too. So that's a big difference. But you can see this 𝐜𝐭𝐲, 9.72%. Remember, I go for about a 62% 𝐜𝐭𝐲. And so when you use this strategy, it lowers your 𝐜𝐭𝐲 and it also scales your products as well. This is another customer of ours. This is a client that we had struggles with them. We started with them, I think, on July of 2018. And you can see these dips that happen every month. This is the problem with scale. And like I said, if you're not ready to scale, then you have to be prepared to scale your campaigns. And the reason is inventory. Inventory and cash flow are huge. And when you have trouble with cash flow, then you won't be able to order inventory to keep up with scale. Even my own brand, we have lots of trouble. We're actually having trouble with this for 3 products right now. And it's because we've scaled them up and we didn't get the order in time. And so we're going to stock out. So we had to turn off all advertisement and just kind of hold steady for a little bit until we can get it back in stock. Like I think we have 1,000 left of one of our products that we were selling 100 a day. And so we had to turn off all advertisement. And so that was just bad inventory management on our part. But this is common when we work with clients is we'll give them a little boost, they'll go out of stock. We'll give them a little boost, they'll go out of stock. And then finally, it takes, some time to get that. So boost out of stock. And finally, we're able to have the cash flow to stay in stock. And you can just see the strategy just work really well. And so this was April of this year. But I cut it off here because we ran out of stock again and it started dipping back down. So, and then this is an example, a prime example of a customer that we had. We increased their sales quite a bit. They ran out of stock and we actually just got back in stock like 7 days ago. And so scaled up 2 of their products, stocked out of 1, their main seller, and then we're starting to climb back up now because they're back in stock for both of them. So one last thing before I stop the presentation and go live is what else can you do with these search terms? So I want to go back to this slide right here. So the title of this product is 𝗱𝐵𝐺 eyelid wipes. Those are the first 3 words because that word and that word. And then we'll put eyelashes in the title. We of course can't put our competitors in, but I'll go through all of these because these are the ones that are making the most sales for us. And this is how I build out my title. So the front of the title should be your main keyword that you're going after. So 𝗱𝐵𝐺 eyelid wipes is our main keyword. You can also use the rest of them for the end of your title, kind of like a flowing keyword stuff. Use it in your bullets. Another great thing to get from your bullets is if you guys don't use Helium 10, Helium 10 has a review. You can scrape reviews. I recommend going to either your product, if you have a lot of reviews, or your competitor product, if they have a ton of reviews. Scrape the reviews. And what it does is it actually tells you what words come up over and over and over again in the reviews. And that's where you develop your bullets. Those are the benefits of your product. So you want your bullets to do that, but you also want to position your bullets around the search terms that are ranking really well. Put it in your description if you have a description, or in your enhanced brand content if you have that. You also want to use it for your backend search terms. Use it in your photos. So using that review strategy, you can use it in your photos as well. And then if you do Google ads or Bing ads or Facebook ads, you can put them in those too. All right, so should we jump into the live example now?
And that'd be great.
All right.
Just a quick look at the question. I think the questions can all wait till after the live example, so let's go for that.
Okay, let's just jump right into the live. All right, can you guys see my new screen?
Yep.
Got it. All right. So this is all very raw and we're doing it live here, and I'll try to talk through it. Just Amazon being Amazon, you have to log in 100 times just to get into the account. All right, so we talked about, going to reports and advertising reports. That's where we started. You can also do it inside Campaign Manager. So let's go over to that because this will show you the new style. If you guys haven't seen this yet, it's been out for a while, but it's starting to get rolled across all accounts. And it's incredibly slow. So, but if you click this little button over here and go down to reports,
And wait for the next Ice Age.
oh man, it drives me crazy how slow that platform is. But it's also my computer probably too. All right, so here we are in the create report section. I already created this report yesterday. I'm going to download it just so we have that downloading and so we don't have to wait on that. Okay, we didn't have to wait on that at all. But I'm going to show you how to do that too. So we go to create report, sponsored products, search term, summary, reporting period. So I talked about that 5-day attribution. So go back as far as you can. So April 21st to June 21st. So that's a 4-day attribution. So this is today, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that gives you just a more complete picture, like I said earlier. Hit OK. You can name this whatever you want. So you can put like a search term, report, 06/25/2020. Recipients, you can actually send it to somebody's email address when it's done. It usually does it pretty quickly. Like I said, we have about 40 SKUs, and it usually does it in about 30 seconds or less. And you can also schedule it out. And so you can schedule this to, you'd only want to schedule it out if you did like the last 30 days or something, because then it will go, and then you can do it recurring. So at the end of every month, you can have it do the last 30 days or something like that. But you can put an email address in there. I don't really do that, but you hit run report, and then it will pop up in this area right here once it's done processing. Or you can go back to this reports area and it will be at the top. I'm not going to make you guys wait on that, but I downloaded it by clicking that button. So you can see this one's still coming and this one is ready. So I downloaded that one. I'm going to get out of Amazon just because it's slow as molasses. Nope, just my computer. All right, so here we go. We're going to open up Google Sheets. Here, let me actually, while I'm doing this, I am going to turn my camera off to speed up things. So once we're in Google Sheets, we're going to go to File, Import, Upload. So if you use Chrome, it will pop up right here and you can just drag it over, or you can just select File from Device and then find it, pull it in. And like I said, you can really just pick any of these. If you have stuff in this spreadsheet already, don't click replace. You'll put insert. But for this, it's a blank spreadsheet. So I'm just going to click import data. While that's populating, that might take just a couple minutes. I'm going to go grab one of my ASINs to show you. So you can see there's a lot of columns here. Just a lot of data. So I don't think you really need any of this data, so I like to clean it up. So I first get rid of the 4 columns to the right. Here's your conversion rate. I like to just kind of shrink these. And you only need orders or units. You don't need both of them. I like to do orders because that tells me more of like how many orders there were versus if somebody ordered more than one. You don't need ROAS because it's the inverse of 𝐸𝐸𝐽, and we're going to use 𝐸𝐸𝐽 as the measuring stick. And then what I like to do is for these percentages, I like to highlight them all and get them down to the second or the 10th right there. Here's sales. Spend, CPC. So what I'm doing is just making these a lot cleaner just to look at them a lot better. So then over here, I just like to get rid of currency. So essentially what I'm deleting is the first 4 columns and the last 4 columns. All right. So here's your search term report. Oops. And then we'll compact all this too. All right, so now we got everything in one nice area. What we're going to do first is delete everything that gets 3 sales or fewer. So I click this button right up here at the top. It highlights everything. I go to data, sort range. Data has headers. Go to orders, or you can do sales, either one. Z to A. That will bring everything that we get the most sales for right up to the top. So Hydrate Lid and Lash Cleanser, that's our main product that sells the most. We have a lot of brand recognition for that because it's been around for 3 years now. Women's sunglasses, we do have a sunglass company. I was telling you before that we have a winter product and we have a summer product. So summer's our sunglasses, winter is our dry eyes product. All right, so what we're gonna do is it's actually sometimes easier to actually get the orders that are 3 sales and up and just take those to a new spreadsheet. Because as you can see, that is only 453 words versus 6,751. So what I like to do here is I like to just grab all these. We're going to take those away, put them in a new sheet. Now we have everything here. All right. So now that we have it sorted by sales, orders, and we have only the 3 orders and up, I'm going to delete that. You can keep it if you want, but I'm going to delete it. So we got 3 orders and up for this whole spreadsheet now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to find and separate out each product. Now I'm not going to show you each product, obviously. I'm just going to show you this product here. Oops. All right, so we'll sort it again by campaign name. And then what I like to do is just do a search for that ASIN. And then wherever that ASIN shows up, Let's see. Did I pick the right one?
You can also filter the column just to show that ASIN.
That's true. Nah. I always forget about filters.
Without them.
Let's see, filter by value. Oh, there it is. Actually clear. So what you'll see here is that we separate out each search term into its own campaign. Okay. I don't know why that didn't work like I wanted it to. So each one of these is an individual campaign with that ASIN and with its own search term. There we go. Okay. So then we'll sort it again by sales or orders, either one. And then you can see right here during that 60-day period, same as what I showed you before. Now, there's a couple things we do with this data. Like I said, this will go in the front of our title. This will be the main keyword you go after. So when I'm looking at the 80-20 of these search terms, if you have a budget and you're hitting your budget every single day, then you're doing yourself a disservice by limiting these search terms. So what we always do with a client when we take them over is we ask them what budget they have and we talk them through how to come up with a budget and everything. And if their budget is limited, we'll actually do only exact match campaigns for the search terms that are producing all those results. The reason we do that is because we want all the budget to go towards eyelid wipes. Because until we have budget left over, that's the only word we want to rank for, or the only word we want to bid on, because it's making sales. As you can see, 37% and orders of 11. Now, this wasn't the greatest example because we actually just started selling this product in our account because we purchased this company from another account and all the data for this product is in the other one. But you can still see that the 80-20 rule applies. These produce most of the results. So eyelid wipes and 𝗱𝑚𝑒DiVIZ eyelid wipes. And you saw it in the slideshow as well that these two words were the best two words. Now, with that being said, we will only do an exact match campaign for this until we've maximized that. Once we've maximized that, then we'll pull it out into a phrase match to start exploring. You don't want to start exploring new search terms and keywords until you've maximized the search terms that are making the most sales. That is the big 80-20. Once we find these search terms, those are the only two campaigns I want to run. Now, if you don't have a budget, if you have an uncapped budget, then you might want to go after all of these words. So all of these words in an exact match campaign only. And for the ASINs, you do a product targeting ad. Once you've separated them out into their own exact match campaigns and the budget's not being hit, that's when you start exploring with a phrase or a broad. You can do both phrase and broad if you want and if you have the budget to do it. But if you just have a limited budget, start with phrase to explore. The whole point of exploring and trying to discover new search terms is to put them into an exact match campaign to scale them. And so there's no point in going out and exploring new search terms and trying to find new ones until you've maximized the ones that are already showing for your data. I hope that makes sense, and I hope everybody can kind of grasp that. That's the big secret, is exact match campaigns, one keyword per campaign, so you can customize it, and stop exploring and trying to find new search terms until you've maximized the search terms that are making you the sales.
And when
I'm trying to say it 50 different ways.
Sorry, can I just interrupt here? Because I think there's a salient question that applies to this moment. So I'm going to break all the rules and ask you a question. So when you say maximize, how do you know when you're there? How do you know when you've maximized it?
You'll know you're there when you don't see an increase in sales anymore. And so with our main product, I'll just show it to you guys here. Actually, let me show you the results of just going after eyelid wipes. But you'll know you're there when you no longer increase. So our main product sells about 150 to 200 per day, every single day. And for a month, we were doing this more and more and more. Or we kept doing this. We do the strategy with it every single month. But when the sales stop increasing, that's when you've probably reached maximum scale for that product. And you'll know when it comes, because you'll be increasing steadily, and then all of a sudden you won't be increasing anymore, if that makes sense. Now, conversely, I'm trying to say this so it seems straight in my mind, and then so it will come across as well. If you have a budget, make sure you're only going after exact match until you have more budget to work with. And if you guys don't work with budgets, then that's fine. Just go after whatever you want, but you might spend a lot of money discovering. But you don't want to try to discover new search terms until you've maximized these other search terms. And you'll know you've maximized the product to scale when it just the sales start to flatline. So 150 to 200 per day. It's a home run product. It's a great product. It doesn't really increase anymore as a result of PPC. So we do other things to try to increase it now, like subscribe and save. But so us just going after these two keywords, especially this one, it allows us to get to the top of the rankings. So there is one of our products, number 1. Here's another one of our products, number 2. So we're at the top of the sponsored products. We don't ever want to lose that because of how well or how much we sell for that product or for that search term. And then if you go to organically, we're 4th. There's our video ad. And then we're 6th. So 4th and 6th for this keyword is pretty great. These are national brands. These aren't like other Amazon sellers trying to sell. Sustain is a national brand, international brand, owned by Alcon, which is a pharmaceutical company. OcuSoft is about a $100 million company in my space. They've been around since the 90s. And so to uproot these off of number 1 and 2, it's going to take a lot of sales. And so you can see the strategy we're using. We have a big coupon of 30% on this one. This is a product we just launched, and we had to stop advertising because we got it up to 100 sales per day, but we're running out of inventory. This one we have at about 60 to 70 sales per day. And we have plenty of inventory. So that's why this one's higher up, because we're pushing it a little bit more with a strong coupon to try to unseat these guys. But you can see they react to our price, which is funny because they're a $100 million company and they're reacting to us. But our goal is to just be in this top 3 because we know that will make a lot of sales. Did that answer your question, or did that just confuse it more?
Great, actually, although I'm really puzzled by your 30% coupon. Are you...
We can talk about that.
Yeah. Are you figuring most people will clip it but not use it? Is that...
No, we want them to use it. So we have a 60% repeat purchase rate.
Okay.
And they're only going to see that coupon once every 3 months. And so we will lose for as long as possible. Actually, the 30% off is about break even for us. And this one down below, we had 50% off because we just launched it, which is break even as well. But we know that when people try it, they'll be back and they'll get on subscribe and save. And so we do that. We do a big coupon until we get to 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 subscribers is 30 automatic sales per day. And that pretty much sets you up pretty well to like really take, did I say 30? I meant 300 sales per day. Am I thinking that wrong? No, 30 sales per day. It's in my head, right? But the more subscribers you have, the more your product's going to be unstoppable. And so we do a big discount like this until we get a lot of reviews. So we have 224, but they have 2,600. So we'll do this big discount to try to get as many sales to try to get more reviews than them. This one we just launched. We have 18 reviews, so we'll continue to provide that big discount when we have the stock to do it, and until we get the subscribers that we want. You guys have probably heard the business that's willing to lose for the longest will win.
Yeah.
And that's why you hear people spending $200 to acquire a customer and their average order value is 150. So they're losing $50 on the sale. It's because they know their lifetime value. So our lifetime value of a customer is around $220. And so I'm willing to break even on that first sale to get them to try my product in order to accelerate sales in the long term. So it's just thinking more long term, but you have to have the capital to do this. And the mistake I see sellers make is they want to release products too fast. Maximize your product that you have. And if you've tried everything and you still can't maximize it, that's when you want to go out with a new product and maybe kill that one. And when you have a winning product, make sure you put all the money towards that and don't release another product until that one is stabilized. And it's getting, however many sales is good for your product per day. You have excess capital to deploy to another product, to the advertising, to the marketing, to everything. So when we acquired that company, we got 5 new products in our brand. 𝗱𝐸𝐻 is the company we acquired. And we went straight into launch mode because we had excess capital. So instead of launching all 5 products on our own, we bought a company that had 5 products, the 5 products we wanted, and brought it into our ecosystem. And then we used the cash that we had, excess cash, to then market all these products. That's kind of a more advanced strategy but the goal is to go after the main keyword, eyelid wipes, to make sure we're number 1 and 2 all the time and pay no matter what. Looks like we do not have the headline search ad right now. We'll probably have it later tonight because they tend to run out of it. They're bidding a lot, and so they tend to run out of money, and we get all the nighttime sales.
So you're doing day passing, right?
Not purposely, but it just happens because my competitors run out of budget. I don't get into that too much just because it's a lot of work, and to do that for our, let's see how many we have. We have close to 5,200 campaigns. So for those that are wondering, that seems like it's going to be a lot of campaigns. Yes, it is. It's 5,200, but active, it's probably a lot less than that. But to tell you the truth, this isn't what your competitors are doing. Your competitors are not doing this. They're not individualizing anything. So we have 3,200 active campaigns. All right. Should we go into questions?
Yes, that's great. Okay, if anyone else has questions, please post them on the questions tab here on the right-hand side of the webinar window, and we'll run through them. Okay, a couple of questions about starting up. Do you start your PPC campaigns when you launch a new product, or would you suggest people wait and then start after they've launched and done other things to get the initial traction?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we'll just go to this product. So this product, we launched it May 1st, and I'll actually show you the data here with Helium-10 if it will pop up. There it is. So we'll wait for this to pop up. So with this product, what we do, the strategy that we use is we put the price where we want it to be long-term. So we know we want to sell this for $19.97. So we'll put it at $19.97. And what we do is we launch to our audience at a big discount. Let's see, here it is. Okay. So we came out with it on May 8th, right here. So on May 8th, we launched this product to our audience. We have an audience of around 100,000 now. Something that we really focus on is building our audience and serving a person. And so if you haven't started doing that, I highly recommend it. But we launched on May 8th, and you can see this spike right here. So this was our soft launch to our VIP members, the top 20% of our customers. And then we did our hard launch to the rest of our customers a couple days later. And that's where you can see this little spike down. This is 0 reviews, no reviews, just a good discount. And then we don't have any advertising on. Then we just wait for the reviews to trickle in. So we reach out to the customers personally. We ask them how they're doing with the product, if they had any questions, what their experience was, and if they like it, we then ask them for a review. These are phone calls, these are text messages, these are Facebook Messenger messages. Any way you can get a hold of the customer, the better. So you can see this little climb up here. This is the waiting on reviews part. Once we're done waiting on reviews, we wait till we get about 5 to 7 reviews. And then we put a big 50% discount on it. And so you can see in the search results, let's see if I can, okay, I'll show you. And you can probably do this on your search results too. Nobody has a coupon. So that coupon sticks out. And so we have a big 50% off coupon right here. Nobody else on page 1 does. And so it really stands out to have a coupon. And people like to see that. And so we put a 50% off coupon. We then turn on Amazon PPC. And that's when you can see this drop down again. And you can see our sales rank is in the 5,000s. And we were selling we got up to about 70 per day with just 5 reviews. And that's because we put the price where we want it. We put a big 50% off discount. And then we start driving Amazon PPC. Now, at the beginning, you don't know which search terms are going to sell well. So that's where good keyword research comes in. And so you have to have good keyword research to write the copy of your listing, but also to start your Amazon PPC. And so what we usually do during that time is we pick 5 well-researched keywords to go after. That's another mistake I see a lot. People will go after a ton of keywords, and you need to go after 5. Your research should show you what 5 to go after. And so we went after those 5 in a broad match category with a really healthy negative list. And as you're doing your keyword research, you should be developing that negative list. And so we launched the PPC with the 50% off discount code. It drops our sales rank, increases our sales. We got it all the way up to 70 per day. And now we had to turn everything off yesterday because we're running out of inventory. So it's a very sad day. See, even we have stock problems with Scale. It's a consistent problem no matter what the size of your business is.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yes, it does. I think that's great detail as well. I've tried to summarize that on the questions tab for Mary. The second question is from Ginny, also relating to starting out. Do you think single keyword campaigns are ideal when you're just starting out, or should you be starting a kind of research campaign?
Yeah, so single keyword campaigns are best even for broad match, even for phrase match, even for exact match, even when you're just starting out, even when you're experienced. When you're just starting out, you're not going to have 3,000. You're going to have 10, maybe 20. But when you're just starting out, the reason, let me go back into my keyword manager here, or my campaign manager. And I'm going to go back to the reason why this is so important. So this is a broad match campaign that we're going after because we don't have a budget. We have an uncapped budget for all of our words. And that will come. Actually, it says we have a $1,600 budget, but we don't hit that. The reason it's so important is because you can change every single campaign setting. You can change the budget. You can change the dynamic bids, which I only use bids down only. But you can change top of search 8%, product pages 6%. You can change that. This is the most important thing, I think, to do the individual search terms per campaign. So one search term per campaign is that you can do top of search. Because if you have 50 search terms in a campaign and you're doing top of search of 20%, there could be some words that would benefit from 500%. There could be some words that don't benefit from it at all. And so you're doing a disservice to your campaigns and your products and your business if you don't individualize them, because you can customize them so much.
Okay, so one thing we haven't talked about much is it's good to know we can customize them, but why do you decide that one is 8 and the other one is 6?
That's a whole discussion. I do have a blog post on how to calculate bid adjustment, and I actually let me go find it and I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, or if you like, Travis, will be in our group. We can put it into the group after this because it's obviously a big question. I should also add that we are planning to ask Travis to come over to the UK. He's got a ton of knowledge about all sorts of things, as I hope everyone can see. So we are hoping, possibly not till 2021, to see Travis in a mastermind in the UK. So, we will get eventually, at least, a lot more data out of him. In fact, we'll squeeze every last ounce because we like to get massive value from people.
He doesn't think you're serious. He doesn't know you well enough.
No, but in a very nice way. He will feel so cosseted. It's not a problem.
And I just sent it to you two an email, the article that talks about bid adjustment.
Well, we'll put it on the Facebook group afterwards. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Next question. A couple of questions from 𝗕𝗂𝘀𝘀𝘀. I assume your single keyword campaigns are exact matches. Well, they're not, because we saw that you had exact and phrase and was broad as well campaigns.
Yeah, so let me address that again. I can briefly summarize it. So if you have a budget, if you're working with a budget, you need to only do exact. You should not be trying to discover new search terms when you're not maximizing the exact search terms that are making your sales. And so to go back to my screen, this one. If you're looking at my data and using it as your own, I would only go after these two as exact match. And until my budget is met, or if I have extra room in my budget, I would then go after these two with broad and phrase. Or even just broad or phrase. A single keyword ad campaigns.
I don't know if everyone can see the screen, but if you look on the left, you can see that it seems to me that you want your campaign starting with PH a phrase match and the ones with BR a broad match, but they have several same keywords. So there's a separate single keyword broad match campaign, a separate single keyword phrase match campaign, a separate single match exact match campaign.
You got it. So yep, BR is broad, PH is phrase, OW is exact. Don't ask. And then the ASIN, and then the keyword that we're going, or the search term that we're going after.
Okay, then a second question from Kev, same person. You mentioned not going after keywords with an ACoS greater than your profit margin, but there are some times when you want to rank for expensive high volume keywords at a loss in order to boost your organic sales. How do you make this call?
I turn them off. It sounds crazy. Amazon's telling you something, or the market is telling you something that it's costing you a lot for those search terms because it's a market mismatch, and us being the entrepreneur needs to take the emotion out of advertising. You need to just look at the data, and the hard data is telling you that this keyword is expensive. Because I'll give you an example, a prime example. Let me see if I can actually pull it up. Nothing hurts me more than when somebody does not advertise well for their own search, or their own brand, right? So I just typed in my brand name, and you can see our competitor is at the top here. Now, most entrepreneurs or most business owners will say, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to put my brand as high of a click as possible because I don't want my competitor being there. We did that. But our ACoS was like 150%, and it just wasn't worth it to us anymore. We did it. We fought with them for a while, but they're bidding like $30 per click. And so we just let them have it. We're just like, you know what? You can have it. And then you can see them right here too. That's our competitor. And so even if it's a word that you think that you should be ranking for, or you want to try to rank for because you want to increase other keywords, believe me when I tell you, there are other long tail keywords out there in this list somewhere that if you continue to drive traffic to those instead, if you use that budget for those search terms, you will start to rank in that search term that you want to go after. If that made sense.
Yeah. It does to me. Hopefully it does to Kev as well.
Yeah, turn off that one. Use all that budget towards your search term report and all those words.
So just to clarify, sorry, can I butt in? So just to clarify, what if the word that you cannot afford to go after is eyelid wipes, which obviously is really, I think that might be what Kev's getting at. It's obviously really important given the product that it is. So you would have to go, I can't do it. I'm going to have to go for eyelid wipes for dry eyes, or whatever the long tail keyword version of that is. I'm not an expert in your area.
The 𝗱𝐸𝐻 is good. If the 𝗱𝐸𝐻 is too, if it's too expensive to advertise there, it's not the right keyword for you.
Exactly. So yeah, so there could be eyelid wipes. Eye wipes for people would be a long term. Eyelid scrub for blepharitis could be a long term. Look at that, 10%. And then some other ones like, let's see, tea tree oil, eyelid wipes, 17%. Just going after the more long tail. And I can give another example with this product. So this is the one that sells 150 to 200 a day for us. We used to go and get all the keywords like dry eyes, dry eye, but we don't even rank anymore for these because all these pharmaceutical companies came in and started driving up the cost. And so we don't even bid on them anymore. You can see we're not even on page 1 and we're going after more long tail. And so blepharitis treatment, these are all eye diseases if you guys were wondering. So blepharitis treatment's another example. We sometimes show up for that, we sometimes don't. But it's another example of, yeah, so we are showing up and we're Amazon's choice and we're number 1. Wow, that's weird. We're never number 1, so this is cool. But yeah, there's other words out there. So dry eye would be like my number 1 thing I wanted to go after, but it just wasn't profitable for us. I wanted to rank for that keyword, but I just couldn't do it. And so I looked for more long tails, and just that's where keyword research comes in. Use tools that you have at your disposal to find other keywords, because going back to this, eyelid scrub for blepharitis, I guarantee my competitor is not going after that word. He may be going after blepharitis broad and may show up for it. But if I do an exact single keyword campaign for eyelid scrub for blepharitis, just check it out. So yeah, there we are, 1 or 2 and 3. But it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I think one thing to say to people is if you're spending a lot of money chasing very expensive keywords, you could probably have got more sales for that same money by chasing less expensive keywords. And those extra sales would probably have helped you more than having that one expensive sale on the expensive keyword. And
100%. Yep.
Find what works for you and then build that from there. I think Tim Jordan spoke about this a bit when he came to speak with us last year, and he's talking about establish your beachhead, establish the keywords that work for you, and then start building out from that. First, find the ones that are working for you and your brand at this moment in time. And then you can aspire to the other more competitive ones later. But establish that beachhead first, the ones that work, and then build out from there and start then being more ambitious and going after more difficult keywords, because you have a better sales base to then push you into those.
And that is a great summary of my whole talk today.
Okay, more questions. Question from Ron. It's more of a business question than a PPC question, so feel free to dodge this one if you want to. To prevent stock out, how much additional cash flow should be available to anticipate the next larger order as a percentage of the non-optimized inventory order costs?
Yeah, so you just never know how a product's going to react to the market.
Other products as well. It depends on your cost of your stock, surely.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't read the book Profit First, it's pretty much a business Bible.
My
And
copy arrived today.
what's that?
My copy arrived in the post today.
Nice. So I've read it about 4 times now. I'm actually listening to the Audible right now. Profit First, it's huge for business management, because what we do in our business is, we get our big chunk from Amazon, and we have Shopify sales and PayPal and all that stuff. And every 2 weeks, let's say we make $100,000. We actually allocate money to accounts. So we have our main bank account, and the first 10% that comes out of that money is profit, hence the name Profit First. So I actually physically transfer that money to a profit account. The next 5% goes to owner's payment, which is my payment and my wife's. The next 10% goes to taxes. So depending on where you are, that may be higher or lower. We do 10%. So when we get that big tax bill at the end of the year, we can pay it. And then the next account is inventory. And so we usually allocate, I want to say 30% to inventory, maybe not quite that high. And then the last one is operating expense. So that's your team, your softwares, your advertisement. So what we do is we look at the inventory account. The inventory account determines if we can launch a new product. It also helps us plan for future purchases. And so right now, our accounts payable is like $100,000. And if you have all the money in one bank account, you're constantly thinking about, I need to keep that over $100,000 so I can pay the inventory order. But if you have an inventory account that's separate, it builds up to meet that accounts payable. And then once your accounts payable for inventory is below your inventory account, that's when you can start to see or start to think about coming out with another product. But you want to make sure that you can keep in stock first. And so to give you an example, the product I just showed you, when we launched it May 8th, we had 3,500 units in stock. We didn't expect it to get to 100 sales a day as fast as it did. It actually got to 70 to 80 sales a day. But we didn't expect it to climb that fast. And a couple of days ago, I said, do we have another set of these on order? Because we're selling through them really fast. And that's when they told me to shut off all advertisement. And so making sure that your inventory team talks to your marketing team is key. But then also just setting money aside every single paycheck to make sure you have enough money to order that inventory. And if you have a product that's selling 70, 80 per day, make sure you don't run out. Yes, we are going to run out. But we also had another product we launched in January. We got that one up to 60 sales a day. It was a face wash. Face wash is very competitive, but we came out with a tea tree face wash. And same strategy, 50% off discount code, pricing it at $20, driving a bunch of traffic to it. Great reviews. But COVID hit, and we used the same bottle that hand sanitizer uses. So all the bottles dried up. And so we lost all the bottles. So we had to slow down sales again. So we're still actually waiting for that one to come back. We're only selling about 20 to 30 a day with no advertising, but we're going to launch it back up once we can get bottles. So you just never know what's going to happen. But the key thing is just setting money aside with every paycheck you get for inventory is the long story short.
Okay, these questions are flying in.
So shorten your answer is what you're saying.
When trying to start scaling a product, is there a particular ratio between advertising and organic sales which you aim for? For example, 40% of sales for advertising.
Yeah. So we calculate total ACOS for all of our products. Total ACOS is how many sales you get and the advertising spend. So your typical ACOS, the ACOS that you have in your account, is advertising sales, advertising spend. We calculate total sales versus total ad spend. And the reason we do that is because we want our total ACOS to be around 10 is great, 15% is good, 20% is starting to look a little borderline. So whenever we start to see that total ACOS being above 20%, that's usually an indicator that we may not be able to scale that product. And so that's when we usually come out with a strategy that this product may be too expensive to scale. And so we'll probably pull back and actually just kind of put that product into maintenance mode. Whereas in like products that have that 10 to 15 to 20% total ACOS, then those are the ones we know we can scale. It's kind of one of the metrics we look at, also the conversion rate. We look at conversion rate. If the conversion rate's high, total ACOS is low, both of those numbers mean we can shoot for the moon.
Makes sense.
I don't know if I can switch it in my head real quick for how that interprets to advertising versus organic sales, but it's in there somewhere.
It depends on what the ACOS is. So yeah, I don't need a single number for that. But I think that basic of look at your ad spend divided by your organic as well as your sponsored sales, then that gives you a very good way of looking and understanding the real cost of advertising to your business. Okay. So when you first start and get your keywords, have you done that through Helium-10 research, or do you run some kind of campaign first to try and get a feel for the keywords, or where do those first keywords come from?
The number one thing you can learn in your business for Amazon is keyword research. That is the most important part of Amazon. And you can even do your keyword research every 6 months for every product if you want to get really good at it. We don't do that because the Amazon PPC spits out enough search terms that it keeps us busy enough. But the number one thing you can do is keyword research for your Amazon business. I use Helium-10 Magnet. I also use their Cerebro tool, and I have trainings on my website again they're free. They're just blog posts. The reason I made the blog posts and I made them free is because when we hire somebody in our agency, they go through that training, and it was kind of a selfish reason. We just wanted to give it to the world. So we have a keyword research training, also a reverse keyword research training too, that we have on our blog. But keyword research is the number one thing you can learn. That's how you can really narrow it down to like the 5 keywords you want to go after. And hey, if you're wrong, you're wrong, and you pick 5 new ones. You do more research and pick 5 new ones. So yeah, I use Helium-10, but keyword research should be, you just need to learn it. It took me probably 2 years to master it, and I don't even know if I haven't mastered yet.
I think it's a moving target as well, so you can't quite perfect it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Should we move on to like Sophia's question, which I think might be quite a pertinent one and top of mind for people. So most of us listening to you are not starting from a 0 point. We're starting from a point of, we've got all this shit going on inside our campaign manager. So what would you do? How would you manage the transition from what you're recommending or to what you're recommending from where our starting point would be? Do we just switch everything else off? Probably not. So give us a hint here.
Okay, so how we did it and how I recommended are 2 different things. We went all in on this strategy. We shut everything off and had a heart attack for a month and was like, is it ever going to come back? And it did, but it's not for the faint at heart. And so what I would recommend doing is doing kind of a combination of the 2. Find your search terms that are working. So as you can see in the example, the eyelid wipes and eye wipes for people, eyelid wipes, eyelid scrub for blepharitis. Create single keyword exact match campaigns and bid a lot. Don't be afraid to bid a lot because you have a low ACOS and you're making lots of sales for those. So I'm not talking like $1 to $2 a lot. I'm talking $5 to $10 a lot. And watch them daily. So find your top 5 search terms for each product and create a single keyword ad campaign for each of those. That would be where I would start. So top 5 search terms for each product you have, and make that a single keyword ad campaign for exact match only. That's where I would start, and then go from there. And then pick either broad or phrase. Go after one, not both.
Okay.
And then you would pause. So my understanding is that you would pause all the others.
Don't pause all the others yet.
No.
Would,
when you were ready, when yours starts to look like it's gaining some traction, it's got an engine of some sort of wind and power behind it, you then pause the others so that actually you do create a nice transition for Amazon and the algorithm, right?
Exactly, yeah. But what I would do is I would go clean up my current campaigns. So go inside the current campaigns, pause anything that has not made an impression. So it hasn't made any clicks. Pause anything that has more than 10 clicks with no sales. Pause anything that has more than 10 clicks higher than your break-even ACOS. Just get rid of them.
Yeah. Okay. Next, if you have a keyword which has a very strong organic rank, would you consider that as a reason to stop advertising, even if 𝗱𝐸𝐻𝑁 is good, or would you keep running the ads on when the 𝗱𝐸𝐻𝑁 is good?
Say that one more time.
So if you're ranking very well naturally, organically for eyelid,
Oh, okay. Yep.
would you ever
That's what I thought.
stopping the advertising?
Oh yeah. Never stop.
So
Yeah, never stop your advertising.
So it's just,
A lot of people say like they'll save a lot of money that way, but I always want to be at the top of that search term. So the top is advertising. And so when somebody sees you, I mean, to go back to this example, searching eyelid wipes, you see me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times all, I don't want to say above the fold, but on the first page above the halfway mark. And so, oh, and there's another one of our products, even though it's not relevant to this keyword. But yeah, you see us 5 times just in this first little area. So repetition. If people see you over and over and over again, and then something else we do, this is a little more advanced, is, let me do this real quick, is we product target all these people. So in here, you'll see that's my product. That's my two. So you can see we're the top of these too. So when they're inside my competitors, they're also going to see us here. And there we are again. So repetition is huge on Amazon. If they keep seeing you over and over again. There we are. Right there, right there, right there. Not down there. So yeah, I never turn off advertising. We actually we attack more. So eyelid wipes is like our main keyword. I know it doesn't show it on this one. Like I said, this product is not in this account yet. So that's why the orders look so low. But you saw it in the presentation where it was like 150 orders. And the next closest one was like 30. This key search term, I want to dominate everything. I'm going to product target everybody that's on this page in the top. I'm going to dominate the search term and then the video ad. And it would be even better if we were on the banner, the headline banner, but we're not right now.
Okay. Trying to figure out some quick questions here that we can do. When you're running your campaigns, how do you determine your starting bid for the exact match or single keyword campaigns?
It tells you.
So you use recommendations.
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways. I'll do a quick calculation just to show you. But you can see your CPC right here, this column. But there is a way to do it. So clicks to order, this is like a technical calculation, but it's not that technical. CPA, and then cost per click. So we can calculate our clicks to order ratio. Clicks to order is just simply, if you go up to this thing, hit sum, it's clicks right here, divided by orders. Pretty simple. So clicks to order ratio is for every 1.31 clicks, I get an order, which is pretty good. I'll take that all day long. That's because it's a brand name. Then you can just kind of drag that down to show you what they look like differently. Costs per acquisition, it's more like your allowable cost per acquisition. So that's your profit margin. So you can do this. I use Helium-10's tool. Let's go back to this listing. So 1997, let's just say, for example, this product costs us $4.50. So you can see our net right here. So that takes your selling price, your cost of goods sold, and your fees. So $9.16 is that. Break that down. Oops, there we go. And then your CPC, or cost per click, is just simply your allowable cost divided by your clicks per order? This is a great question.
Yeah, I mean, the other way you can look at that if you haven't got this data yet is you can look at your page conversion if you're converting 10%, say, and then say, okay, well, if I only want to have a cost per acquisition of $1, then I can only pay $10 cents per click, because it's going to take me 10 clicks to get a sale. But then you may find that paid clicks convert slightly better than the organic ones. So again, it gives you a ballpark figure to start from.
So I hope that made sense for your.
I think it did. Hopefully it did for everyone else too. Quick question from Adam about the place of sponsored brands compared to sponsored products, and how do you decide when to use which?
Yeah, great question. So sponsored products, you need to maximize your search campaigns before you ever even think about sponsored brands. Sponsored brands are going to cost more. They're going to have a higher ACOS, and they're better for brand recognition. They're very click happy ads. So click happy, I mean that when I'm on this search, this is the very top of mobile. It's on the top of desktop. So people click on these a lot. And so your ACOS is going to be higher. And then video ad catches people's attention. And so people click on these a lot. And so these are high ACOS, but they lead to a lot of sales. But just know that that is something that we do down the road. And so once we see we're dominating a certain search term, we will then go to sponsored brands. So our order goes sponsored products, search campaigns, so your exact, expanding out into your broad or phrase, whatever one you want to do. And then we do product targeting. And then we do sponsored brands. After sponsored brands, we then do auto campaigns. I hate auto campaigns with a passion. I think they're worthless, except for some cases. I've probably got 2 to 3 auto campaigns running in my entire account, because you're giving Amazon the control.
Okay.
Which is probably it's gonna pop up a ton more questions.
We'll ignore those ones. Sorry. The non-PPC ones.
There's a question here that probably is a little bit to variations. So when you have 2 similar products, and they're not variations, they're separated out. Let's say eyelid wipes with tea tree oil versus eyelid wipes with aloe vera. Would you put them in the same campaign, or would you dedicate different campaigns to them? Maybe my example was wrong because those are different ingredients, but still.
No. I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at the picture on the screen as you're saying this. So that should answer your question right there. So if we can sell them separately and take up more real estate, we will advertise both of them.
Okay.
And as you can see, we're number 4 organically and number 6, but we're also the top 2 sponsored. So that actually takes me to something else, though, is if you do have a lot of variations, only advertise the bestseller.
Okay.
And let the customer find the other colors or sizes or whatever, because you're wasting your budget if you're going after all the variations. So a good example with us, let me see if I can find it real quick, is our polarized sunglasses for women. I don't know if it will show up, but we'll see. So this is our polarized sunglasses for women. We only advertise this variation. I don't even know if I'm organically page 1, but I know I'm ranked. Let's see. Nope, not on page 1, just for ads. I mean, this search term gets like 500 hits a day or a month. So let's just do this real quick.
And by the way, when you come over to the UK, you've got to do a clinic with us as well around our eyes. I've just realized.
Well, it takes about 40 people. So All right. But yeah, we could definitely organize one. We have 5 variations, and we only advertise this brown pair.
Right.
And we let the customer come find it. Because you may say, but these are mirrored, so you could advertise for mirrored sunglasses. Yeah, that's great, but we're not going to. We're going to stick to just advertising our best seller, our best variation, and then let the customer come in and find it. So this one sells probably 50 a day in season.
Mm-hmm.
Out of season, it sells like 2. But in season, it sells about 50 a day, where this sells 10. This sells 2, 2, and then 10.
Got it. Okay. Understood. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think, look, we are getting to the end of a bit of an hour, but there is one other question around how you scale this, how you manage it. You know, how do we turn this into an endeavor that is manageable? Because one product is fine, but when you get 40, oh my God, 3,200, did you say? Anyway, so can you just give us a view from your perspective of how you do that?
It's all about teams. So I don't manage any of this day to day anymore. And I focus more on the strategy, which is a lot of fun. And it's a lot harder than you think, because thinking is hard and doing is easy for us entrepreneurs. That's why we're always trying to get into things. But for 𝗈𝐿𝑜VE, we have one person dedicated to all our advertising. She does Facebook ads, Google ads, and of course, Amazon PPC. And then on my agency side, we have 3 of us. So I do more strategy, and then the other 2 do the day-to-day. And so with that being said, software is your friend. We kind of live by the rule of eliminate it if it's not useful, automate it, and then delegate it. So if I can eliminate it, I'll do that first. If I can't eliminate it, then I'll try to automate it with software. And then after I look at software options, and if I can't find one that's fitting our needs, then I'll delegate it to somebody, to a person. And so we do use software for this. It's something that is relatively recent. I've been playing with different softwares over the past 3 years, and I've gone through quite a few of them. And so finding things that work for you is key, and then simplifying. You know, don't overcomplicate this business. It's not complicated. You just need to make sales. And a lot of people will chase so many different things, but make sure that you know what the 80-20 is of your business and focus on that. Our 80-20 is Amazon PPC. To give you just a brief story, we did 3.2 million in 2018. We did 3.2 million in 2019, but our profit went way down. That's because we started focusing on direct response marketing, ClickFunnels and Facebook ads and Google ads. This year, we fired that whole team, and we were like, what made us successful in the first place? Building an audience and serving that audience in Amazon PPC. So that's all we focus on now, is those 2 things. And it seems crazy, but like I said, we're maybe going to hit 5 million this year if we stay in stock. And our profit is way up as a result, because we got rid of 5 team members from last year and we're making more. And so really finding out your 80-20 and seeing if you can eliminate it first, automate it second with the software, and then delegate it to a team member third, so you can focus on strategy and growing your business more and just the overall kind of gist of your business. So you just want to be able to focus on that.
Cool. Thank you. Very wise words. An amazing session, I think, and I hope everybody else will agree with us. We do actually, in addition to having an aspiration to get you to fly over, and hopefully that will eventually happen, and we will lick this terrible virus. We do have another session, don't we, where you're going to focus on Google and Google to Amazon in September.
Oh, there's some juicy stuff in that one too.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the one where I first came across what you were talking about, and I was just completely beside myself in awe of how to do that, because I do think both Google and Amazon are extremely powerful. And in fact, my preference is to look at those 2 over Facebook. I'm not a big Facebook advertising fan, but that's a discussion for another day. That's certainly a philosophical position that I hold. based on my own personal experiences of what's worked.
That was my wasted money last year.
Yeah.
Facebook ads.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, somebody must do them extremely well, but my view, if you're going to keep it simple as an entrepreneur, focus on those two things and they will actually pay off for you. But anyway, so I think we're getting some thanks here in the chat window. Are we? Yes. Good. Oh, wow. We've had a successful session. You've been amazing, actually, Travis. I think you've been so generous with your information. And I love people that just have a generous heart and a generous spirit in how they communicate and educate, because that's what the purpose of this group actually is. We're not full-time, you know, running an education business. We do it from being in the trenches. And so we are equally vested and interested in what you have to say, as well as obviously trying to make sure that Scale for Retail works as well. So thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for having me here. Can I make one more comment on some of the, and you're welcome to everyone. So thanks for having me on, first of all. Find me on Facebook. You can just look for Travis Zigler, and I'm pretty much the only one, I think. But yeah, find me on there.
That adds
What's that?
the doctor bit.
It actually finds me easier if you do add doctor in front of it. But Travis, I see a lot of people comment.
We'll tag you in a post so people can find you easily that way as well.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. I see a lot of people saying thanks for opening up your Amazon account, and because a lot of people won't do that. And if you're afraid to share your brand on Amazon, you're not serving a person. You're serving a product in a market. And so really start to focus on the person that you serve. So I know that I focus on a 60-year-old female named Judy, who's got rosacea and dry eyes. And that's every time I think about what product I want to create, I think about Judy and how we're going to fix her rosacea and dry eye. And so once you start focusing on a person instead of a product, that's why I'm not afraid to share my account, because you can try to come after us and like try to outrank us and do your Amazon strategies and tactics, but you don't have 100,000 people following you as a result of that, because they follow us because we serve them. And so really start to build your audience. Even if you have nobody following you, it all starts somewhere. We started this 5 years ago. So 100,000 did not come overnight. It's a slow build, just like Amazon is. So this is a long-term game. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's something that you just need to take that one step every single day to work on building that audience and building that Amazon presence. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, that's a hugely good point. And I'm reading a book that was recommended earlier this year by one of our speakers about how to build your brand story, because one of the things I've discovered about myself is, so I like to think in a very connected way, and I like to pull things together and I connect all the dots. But as a result, my brand story has 8 different things about it, and that's just too many. And so I'm going through, with one of my brands, that is, I'm going through a process of really trying to work out who am I going to abandon almost as an audience, because really they're not my audience, much as I would love them to be. And who am I really going to focus on? And so I agree with you. I'm in this spiral of thinking about it. I mean, you know, and I've been doing that for the last week or so, trying to figure out what I'm saying, and as a result, who I'm saying it to. And I think getting the what you're saying is helpful, because then you find out who you're talking to as well. Really talking to, I mean, you know.
Exactly. And it just helps focus your messaging. It helps focus your advertising, your bullets, your photos, your everything.
Yeah.
To really just go around that one person. And it's, the more you talk to that person, the better. So that's why I pick up the phone and call people. But we started a Facebook group called the Dry Eye Syndrome Support Community.
Right.
And that's up to 11,000 people now.
Wow.
Again, started 4 years ago. And so it didn't happen overnight, but it's built up, and we're constantly in there every day talking to them. And so providing value and just learning about them.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're very intimate with them, almost like we are in this community, but, you know, we've obviously got to do that for our own brands. Cool, great. So we'll let you go. You've obviously done an amazing job here. And so we can't thank you enough, but we really look forward to seeing you next time.
Yeah, I look forward to that one. That one's a lot of fun too.
Good.
Thank you, everybody. Take care of yourselves, and we look forward to seeing you with Travis in September, but in the other webinars between now and then as well.
What's our next one, Christian?
Our next one is with Judson Morgan, very good surname, talking about video.
Yeah.
2 seconds. Let me see if I got the graphic for that.
Yeah. So next week, we're moving on to a completely different subject because, you know, this is about giving as much as we can. And we've actually got an Amazon seller who used to be in the film industry. And in fact, his wife is still an actress. So he is kind of 1 foot in there. He'll be virtually flying in from Los Angeles, of course. And so we'll be doing that a bit later in the day. And he's built his brand really beautifully using content and video, obviously. And he uses both of those mechanisms to create his audience and the buzz around his audience. And he's got a really lovely different perspective to anything I've ever heard before, actually, which is powerful, just in a different way. And so he'll be joining us next week. So we very much look forward to seeing everybody that was here today back again, unless, of course, you're too busy doing PPC.
Well, now you don't have to be so busy because it's all simple.
Yeah.
And just to remind you, that's a 5 p.m. next week, so it's a much later slot because Judson's in Los Angeles, so we couldn't do it at our usual 2 p.m. slot. So it'll be 5 p.m. next Thursday.
Cool. Good. All right. Hey, thank you and goodbye.
Take care, everyone. Bye for now.